We are live at Lollapalooza on 93 XRT. I'm Marty Leonards, joined by the man whose name is not only synonymous with Lollapalooza, but synonymous with our backstage coverage because he has stopped by and chatted with us pretty much every year since Lollapalooza has been in Grant Park. We're joined by Farrell. Perry, it's so nice to have you here today.
Great to be back, Marty.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. The weather is a little cool this year, like cooler than it's ever been, but I'm digging it.
It's it's really a different experience, right?
Yeah.
We've been calling this Lollapalooza Oktoberfest. Well, it's so nice that you stopped by, and it's so great that you always come back to Chicago for Lollapalooza. And I have to ask you, as you come to Lollapalooza every year, especially in a year like this year when you're not playing. Last year we had Jane's Addiction, which was phenomenal.
Oh, thank
you. A phenomenal set. But when you come here and you see what Lollapalooza has evolved into, do you consider, like, from the germ of the idea back in the early 90s when you came up with the idea for this festival as a touring festival and to where it is today, man, your mind must be boggled by what it is.
It's not boggled, but I feel really a camaraderie with, I kind of get tied to every generation because year after year, I come to meet the next generation of musicians, the next generation of concert goer, and I feel like they've become like family to me.
Sure.
So that's I'm not, my mind's not boggled by it, but I'm like secretly very, very happy in my heart.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
When you consider also the evolution of the music industry in that time,
Yeah.
from the beginning to what it is today, that's crazy.
Well, we had to take the musicians, and carry them over this bridge that was, free downloading, basically like ruined the music industry and it really damaged the touring industry as well. But I think after all these years, the name of the game is festivals and playing out in front of large crowds. So I feel also on that level, I feel very like a proud papa that I'm able to kind of carry all my friends that make music with me around the world and give them a beautiful stage to gain a tremendous audience.
Yeah, well, it's pretty incredible how Lollapalooza is not just Chicago, it is a global event.
Yes.
It's all over the place.
Yeah,
South America, Europe.
Yeah, we were in Paris like last week.
Yeah.
So I have these great memories of driving out to the event through this park that had these old school Parisian hookers that were like seriously set up on lounge chairs, gorgeous hookers, and then like do the show, drive back past all these incredible landmarks of Paris, the Eiffel Tower,
Yeah.
into Paris, and the house music scene was really alive and well over at the Paris stage, even though it was raining. The kids were like chasing each other in the rain, very rites of passage, kind of like sexual tension dance party that we were having in Paris.
Well, when you talk about Lollapalooza being in Paris and other cities around the world, let's talk about Chicago a little bit. That Chicago must really have a huge place in your heart for what this has become in this town.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, even though I don't really live here, but I kind of feel like I kind of do. I mean, I live here as much as I live anywhere in the world, you know what I mean? I feel that the work that I do here and the people that I meet and the friends that I've made, I feel, again, that it's very much like familial.
Mm-hmm. As you were talking about how you feel like Lollapalooza and the bands who play here are part of your family, we lost someone just a few months ago whose history with Lollapalooza goes back to the early days and whose band also had a reunion here in 2010, and that would be Chris Cornell and Soundgarden. Boy, that hit all of us hard. What about you?
Well, I mean, I'll never forget watching Chris over on this stage here. That's the South Stage, and it was a return. They hadn't even been a group for like 12, 15 years, and their comeback was that year, and they performed at Lollapalooza, and I was, very much interested to see how they performed and what shape they were in, and they lit it up.
Right.
And so to not have Chris around, it hurts, but as we go through life, you find that this occurrence happens more and more almost on a daily basis. You find somebody that you knew and loved is gone. So what do you do about it, and how does that change the world? You find that the world survives, but some of the people, the great musicians, when they go, it hurts especially.
It does.
It especially does.
It really does. And it also makes you reconsider their music, go back and listen to the things that they did, the music, like really
what
get deeply into it. Yeah.
What they stood for, what they were singing about.
Mm-hmm.
That I look at the musicians like they're the messengers, and what was their message?
Mm.
Chris had a very heavy message. When you listen to his music now after he passes, you just go, wow, he was singing about suicide even back then.
Right.
It was just kind of, I don't know what he was waiting for, but it definitely takes on a different life when you listen to it now, now that he's passed.
Right. Mentioned earlier, Jane's Addiction playing here last year. Just an incredible set. You brought out Jimmy Chamberlain, Tom Morello played.
Yeah.
That was really great. You're doing some shows this year, aren't you, as Jane's Addiction?
Well, no. I'm going to perform tomorrow night with Zed is Dead, just one track that I did with them. And then I might jump up on stage with the Foos tonight.
Right. I didn't mean
That's
at Lollapalooza. I meant you're doing shows with Jane's Addiction this year at all?
No, we have one show in San Diego, but
okay.
I'm working on the Jane Says interactive gaming component, working very hard to get that going internationally, and I have another project that will be ready in about 12 months.
So you're going up on stage.
So.
You're going up on stage at Perry Stage, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a crazy place. It's 4:00 in the afternoon, and that place is packed with light shows going on. And
it's packed all day.
All day.
Yeah.
Middle of the afternoon.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
I mean, like, it shows the strength of dance music, and it really shows. What I like is I love the fact that we have, analog and digital music, and it makes people that love digital want to go and see analog music, because they kind of they want to get out of their comfort zone a little bit, so they'll go and see a group. And then at the same time, people that traditionally like analog, the traditional setup, they're gonna find themselves really having this hankering to go and see what's going on over at the Perry Stage, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
I like it. What it ends up happening is it widens your musical horizons. You know?
Well, that's what Lollapalooza has done since day one.
Yeah.
Since day one. So
sure.
Thanks for coming up with that idea many years ago.
Hey, my pleasure.
And it's so great that we're
No
here
sweat.
chatting with you today. And thanks a lot for stopping by, man. Really appreciate
Thanks, Marty.
it.
Great. Always great to see you.
Nice to see you too. Perry Farrell, we are live at Lollapalooza on 93 WXRT.